Are you afraid of quiet time, of being alone, of being in the silence? Currently, my husband's away on a mental health retreat, a men's retreat overseas, and he'll be away for 2 weeks. So it's given me some time to sit at home in a nice clean house by myself and reflect for a moment. And I've realized I actually enjoy the quiet. I enjoy my peace, my space. But that was once upon a time not the case. And what I've learned over the years is that once you deal with yourself and you understand what that noise in your head once was, and you deal with those problems or those issues that arise in that quiet time, you actually become comfortable being in your space. And when you are not, you are trying to stay busy, you are trying to over focus on things, you are trying to find a way around it, you will try and fill up your time with pointless tasks, have a bad habit, things like drinking, smoking, drugs, alcohol, food, gambling. All of these things can become ways to avoid the silence. Now, what is that silence there? Now, the quiet time and you having space for you to be reflective on your thoughts is necessary for you to understand where you've been, what you've done, and potentially to look forward to what is to come, to set, to plan goals to achieve. But what happens when you avoid that silent time, that quiet time, that space for just yourself? Well, not only do you not get to project for the future and work on goals for the things to come, but you actually avoid the ability to reflect and look at the things that may have been problematic, things that have may affected you, things that are maybe trauma responses or ways that you've behaved because of a trauma. You're now avoiding dealing with life, the reality of life, and the things that have happened potentially in the moment before or a long time ago. And what I find is with people that are suffering to be alone in their own quiet time, in their own space, they really want to avoid that. And if you are avoiding that, you're also going to miss out on the ability to grow something, to make something better, to have goals, to achieve something. So if you find yourself always avoiding, what's the solution to this? First, I say don't try and rip it off like a band-aid. Sometimes it can be very confronting. There could be multiple situations and multiple problems that you're trying to deal with. Sometimes it's good to have a friend or a loved one nearby while you're in your quiet space. So for me, back in the day, that was my husband. It wouldn't have to be sitting right next to me, but that I knew he was in the house gave me the ability to, if I was not okay, to have some support. So if I, reflected on my quiet time, and he's doing his own thing and I don't really see him in the house, but I'm in my space and focusing on my quiet time, I can pinpoint maybe one little task to work on. And in the reflection time and working on that, I also gave myself time to work on a project or a vision for the future. As you get more comfortable dealing with little problems, they will layer and layer, and you can work on all of those things. And then you'll give yourself more time and more opportunity and also more skills to actually deal with the things you want to achieve. Remember, things we've experienced in our past, we are not our experience. We are not our past. We are not the things that have happened to us. We are how we deal with them. So if you are having flashbacks and memories and things that are brought up, situations that are not the most pleasant in feeling, not necessarily they're there to torture you, but sometimes they're there as a reminder or a lesson, and there are lessons to still be learned. So if we haven't learned the lesson, potentially it's still lingering about till you figure out what it is. So rather than just trying to avoid it, maybe take one of those elements. Understand, take yourself away from the emotional side and understand what the lesson is. What is that behavior or what is that situation teaching you or showing you or presenting about the world? If you had no control in that situation, what is it showing you about the world? And then potentially take one of those skills that it is teaching you and apply that to something that you're projecting for the future. If you don't deal with a wound that's still broken and still weeping, you are not going to have the potential to heal and then deal with something else. And if it's just that you don't like your own space and you always need to be filled with being busy, maybe you're bored. Maybe you have no vision for something greater in the future. Maybe you are denying the fact that you are not happy with the human you are currently. Maybe you're avoiding the fact that you are not who you want to be. And then in that moment, sit with that and see what it is that you do want. It might not be the time to dive deep in and try and figure out and solve all the world problems, but it might be a time to just identify one key thing that you would like to recognize about yourself and own. And then once you do, it gives you the sight that, hey, I'm okay, I can do this, and I can move forward and maybe put together something for my future. We can't just live, in the moment without understanding the past and without having some projection for the future. Yes, we need to be present, but if we are avoiding sitting with ourselves and being at pure presence, then we're technically not ever being present. We're trying to escape. So a bit of word of advice. If you find you're someone who wants to escape that quiet time, ask yourself why, and then maybe have a go at looking into why and dealing with it.